The more you explain yourself, the more powerful you become. At least, that's what most people believe. If someone misunderstands you, explain. If someone questions your decision, justify it. If someone dislikes your boundaries, defend them. If someone criticizes your life, prove them wrong. But eventually, something strange happens. You realize that no explanation is ever enough for someone determined not to understand you. You explain once, then again, then differently, and before you know it, you're standing in front of another person trying to justify your own existence. Marcus Aurelius understood something nearly 2,000 years ago that many people still struggle to accept. You cannot control how other people interpret you. You can only control whether your actions are worthy of your own respect. This doesn't mean becoming arrogant. It doesn't mean refusing to communicate. And it certainly doesn't mean ignoring people who deserve an honest explanation. It means recognizing that some parts of your life do not require public approval, because every time you unnecessarily explain yourself, you quietly ask, "Do I have your permission to live this way?" You don't. Here are 7 things you should stop explaining to everyone, and what Stoic philosophy can teach you about each one. 1. Your boundaries. Imagine someone asks you for something. Your time, your attention, your energy. Maybe they want you to attend something, do something, accept something, and you say, "No." Immediately they ask, "Why?" So you explain, "You're tired, you're busy, you have other plans, you need time alone." Then something interesting happens. They begin negotiating with your explanation. "You can rest later. It won't take long. Change your plans." You're overreacting. Suddenly, your boundary has become a debate. This is why sometimes a simple no is enough. A boundary is not a punishment. It is not an attack. It is simply a statement about what you will and will not accept. The Stoics understood that your time and attention are limited resources. Seneca warned repeatedly about allowing other people to consume our lives while we behave as though time were unlimited. Yet many people protect their money more carefully than their time. Someone asks for $100 and you think carefully. Someone asks for 3 hours of your life and you feel guilty saying no. Why? You are allowed to protect your time. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to leave conversations that become disrespectful. You are allowed to decide who gets access to you. You can explain when explanation helps a healthy relationship. But don't confuse communication with asking permission. A boundary that requires another person's approval is not really a boundary. 2. Your life decisions. People will have opinions about almost every important decision you make. The career you choose, where you live, whether you marry, whether you stay single, whether you leave a relationship, whether you start a business, whether you take a risk, whether you choose stability instead. And the strange thing is that people can criticize opposite decisions with equal confidence. Work too much? You need to enjoy life. Relax more? You aren't ambitious enough. Stay in a difficult relationship? Why don't you leave? Leave? You gave up too easily. You cannot build a life that satisfies every observer. Marcus Aurelius constantly returned to the importance of acting according to reason and character rather than applause. Ask yourself, is this decision thoughtful? Is it ethical? Does it align with the person I want to become? Am I prepared to accept the consequences? If the answer is yes, then the entire world does not need a presentation explaining your choice. Advice can be valuable. Wisdom from people you respect can save you from serious mistakes. But advice is different from surrendering ownership of your life. Listen carefully, think deeply, then decide. Because you are the person who must live with the consequences, not the spectators. 3. Your past. Everyone has chapters they would write differently if given another chance. Mistakes, failed relationships, bad decisions, moments of weakness, times when you didn't know what you know now. Some people will try to keep you permanently connected to an older version of yourself. They'll remind you, but you used to. You said, you did. And you may feel compelled to explain yourself again and again. But growth becomes impossible if you believe you must constantly defend who you were to justify who you are becoming. Stoicism places enormous importance on what you do now. The past contains lessons, but it does not contain your next decision. Marcus Aurelius could not undo yesterday. Neither can you. What matters is whether yesterday made you wiser today. If you hurt someone, take responsibility. If an apology is owed, give it sincerely. If damage can be repaired, repair what you can. Stoicism is not an excuse to avoid accountability, but accountability and endless self-defense are different things. Once you have honestly faced your past, learned from it, and changed your behavior, you do not owe every curious person a courtroom defense of every mistake you've ever made. Your past can explain you. It does not have to imprison you. 4. Your ambitions. Be careful who you explain your dreams to. Not because everyone is secretly against you, but because not everyone will understand something they cannot yet see. Tell someone you're starting a business, and they may explain why it will fail. Tell them you're changing careers, and they'll remind you how risky it is. Tell them you're building something ambitious, and they'll ask, why would you do that? Sometimes they genuinely care. Sometimes their warnings are useful. But sometimes another person's fear begins disguising itself as advice. And if you explain your ambition long enough, you may start doubting it yourself. The Stoic approach isn't to announce everything. It's to work. Marcus Aurelius valued action over performance. You do not need to tell everyone what you're going to become. Become it. Let your discipline explain what your words cannot. There is something powerful about working quietly. No constant announcements. No desperate search for validation. No need for applause before the work has even begun. Your ambition does not become more legitimate because someone understands it. If the goal matters to you, build toward it, quietly if necessary. Results have a language of their own. 5. Why you said no. This deserves its own lesson because many people can say no, but then destroy the boundary by apologizing for it. No, I'm sorry, it's just that. Then comes the 5-minute explanation. We do this because we fear appearing selfish, but saying no does not automatically make you selfish. Sometimes, saying no is exactly what allows you to say yes to what matters. Every yes costs something. Yes to one commitment may mean no to rest. Yes to one person's request may mean no to your family. Yes to another obligation may mean no to your own work. You cannot say yes to everything. Epictetus emphasized directing attention toward what truly belongs to us, our choices and actions. Your choices require priorities, and priorities require exclusion. You don't need hostility. You don't need arrogance. You can simply say, I can't do that, or that doesn't work for me, and stop. People who respect you may be disappointed, but they can still respect the boundary. People who only respect you when you comply were never respecting the boundary in the first place. 6. Why you walked away from someone. Sometimes, protecting your peace means reducing someone's access to your life, a friendship, a relationship, a social circle. Maybe there was constant disrespect, manipulation, dishonesty, drama. Maybe nothing dramatic happened at all. Perhaps you simply realized that being around someone consistently made your life worse. When you leave, other people may demand an explanation. What happened? Whose fault was it? Why don't you talk anymore? And sometimes, an explanation is appropriate, especially for the person directly involved. But the entire world does not need the private details. You don't need to destroy someone's reputation to justify your departure. You don't need to publish every mistake they made. You don't need to convince everyone that you were the good person and they were the bad person. Sometimes maturity looks like leaving quietly. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that other people's wrongdoing did not require him to become like them. That principle matters here. Someone may have treated you badly. That doesn't mean you must retaliate publicly. Walk away. Learn. Set the boundary. Protect what needs protecting. And continue forward. Not every ending needs an audience. 7. Your worth. This is the most important one. Never spend your life explaining why you deserve respect. You shouldn't have to convince someone that you're valuable enough to be treated properly. You shouldn't have to repeatedly prove that your feelings matter. You shouldn't have to beg someone to recognize what you bring into their life. Because the moment your self-worth depends entirely on another person's recognition, you give them enormous power over you. They praise you, you feel valuable. They criticize you, you collapse. They choose you, you feel worthy. They leave, you question everything. This is emotional dependence on external judgment, and the Stoics fought against it constantly. Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome. Imagine the number of opinions surrounding him: praise, criticism, rumors, political attacks, flattery, hatred. If his internal stability depended on controlling what everyone thought of him, peace would have been impossible. The same is true for you. Your reputation exists in other people's minds. Your character exists in your actions. Focus on character. Are you honest? Are you disciplined? Do you keep your word? Do you treat people fairly? Do you take responsibility when you're wrong? Do you continue improving? Those questions matter far more than whether everyone approves of you. You do not prove your worth through arguments. You demonstrate your character through repeated action. The difference between silence and avoidance. Now, there is an important distinction. Stop explaining yourself can become terrible advice if misunderstood. Sometimes you absolutely should explain yourself. If you hurt someone you love, don't hide behind silence. Explain. Listen. Take responsibility. If your partner is confused by your behavior, communication matters. If your actions affect your team, family, or responsibilities, clarity matters. Stoicism does not teach emotional avoidance. It teaches judgment. The question is not, should I never explain anything? The question is, why am I explaining this? Am I communicating because this relationship matters? Or am I desperately trying to control someone's opinion? Am I providing useful clarity? Or am I asking for permission? Am I taking responsibility? Or am I defending myself against someone who has already decided not to understand? Those motives are completely different. Learn to recognize them. Stop trying to control other people's version of you. Perhaps the deepest reason we over-explain is simple. We want to control how other people see us. We want everyone to understand our intentions. We want everyone to know we're good. We want nobody to think badly of us. But that goal is impossible. You can be kind, and someone will call you weak. You can be confident, and someone will call you arrogant. You can set boundaries, and someone will call you selfish. You can remain silent, and someone will assume guilt. You can explain everything, and someone will say you're making excuses. There is no perfect behavior that gives you control over every interpretation. So stop trying. Let people misunderstand you sometimes. Not because truth doesn't matter, but because your peace cannot depend on correcting every false opinion. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminded himself that his task was to act rightly, not to ensure that everyone recognized that he had acted rightly. That's a profound difference. Do what is right. Correct important misunderstandings when necessary. Then let go. The power of a quiet life. Imagine how much energy you could recover if you stopped constantly managing other people's opinions. No more rehearsing arguments in your head. No more writing paragraphs nobody asked for. No more explaining your boundaries 10 different ways. No more trying to convince people that your dreams make sense. No more proving that you've changed. No more defending every decision. That energy returns to you, and now you can use it to work, to train, to learn, to build, to love the people who actually matter, to become better. This is one of the quiet powers of Stoicism. You stop wasting energy fighting battles that were never yours to win. You cannot control every opinion, so control your character. You cannot make everyone understand, so make sure you understand yourself. You cannot force respect, so behave in a way that allows you to respect yourself. Remember these 7 things, so the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself to everyone, remember these 7 things. You do not need to endlessly explain your boundaries. You do not need universal approval for your life decisions. You do not need to defend your past forever. You do not need everyone to understand your ambitions. You do not need a long apology every time you say no. You do not need to publicly justify every person you choose to leave behind. And above all, you do not need to convince anyone of your worth. Communicate when communication matters. Explain when explanation serves something meaningful. Apologize when you're wrong. Listen when someone you respect offers wisdom. But stop turning your life into a courtroom where everyone else is the judge, and you are permanently defending yourself. Your life is not an argument. Your boundaries are not a debate. Your ambitions are not a public vote. Your past is not a life sentence. And your worth is not determined by whether another person understands you. Marcus Aurelius spent his life surrounded by judgment, conflict, responsibility, and criticism. Yet the Stoic path kept returning him to one place, his own character. Return to yours. Act with integrity. Speak clearly. Correct yourself when necessary. Then stop explaining. Let people think what they think. Let them misunderstand what they choose to misunderstand. Let your actions speak longer than your words. Because eventually you discover something liberating. You don't need everyone to understand your life. You need to live a life that you understand. And when you know who you are, when you know what you stand for, when you know where you're going, you become much less interested in explaining yourself to people who were never listening in the first place.